Oh, yeah. I wonder what could be happening tonight. Is there anything? Am I missing anything right now? Should I be doing something else? Well, I don't know, but at least we're here tonight talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. I am Brad Jost. This is Let's Talk Jurassic, and I don't know what is happening, but we've got a lot to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the live stream. It has been... Can I turn my audio up a little bit? No. You turn yours up. That's it. That's all I got for you. I don't have anything else for you, but please enjoy this stream. We've got a lot to discuss, I guess, tonight. I don't know. How in-depth are we going to go? I don't really know. What should we talk about? Is there anything to talk about at the moment? Do we have anything? I think we do. We've got a new movie out. It's called Jurassic World Rebirth, and I'm excited to talk about it with you all. I've seen it twice now. That's 4, but I've seen it 2 times, and I got to see it before today, luckily. So I'm itching to talk about it. I've put out a few pieces of content already, so you can go check those out on the podcast feed. But I'm ready to talk about this movie. It is finally here. You guys got to give me like a show of hands. Like, let me know who has seen the movie. Like, I need to know who's seen the movie already so we can start talking about stuff. I'm gonna try not to get like into any kind of spoilery big time stuff, even though I feel like this movie doesn't necessarily have like a lot of spoiler stuff, to be honest. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's pretty chill on the spoilers. There's a little bit, I guess, but like not a lot to go into. But we'll talk about some general stuff, general vibes. If you let me know what you thought about Jurassic World Rebirth, I'll let you know what I think. We'll have conversations. We'll get into it. But I had the chance to see it. I'll just dive into all this first. I had the chance to see it on last Monday. I saw it last Monday, and that was for the Screen Unseen. It was very chaotic, like leading up to that day, right? There was like screenings all over the place, people not getting invited to things, and it just turned out to be like pure chaos leading up to that movie's release, or this movie's release. And the Screen Unseen thing was like whispers behind the scenes for a little while. Like, I had heard the rumors pretty early on, and it was like, all right, is it really going to be it? I don't want to start telling people if it's going to not be the movie. But then it turned out to be the movie, so I got to see it on Screen Unseen Day. And then I also got to see it 2 days later, last Wednesday, at the Collider screening, which also had Gareth Edwards there and Frank Marshall. So both of them were there for this screening. Got to hear a little Q&A with them. Not that it really gave us too much insight into the movie. I think they're very much playing it pretty safe with a lot of the conversation and keeping it very, like, just not going deep into the conversation about what things could mean. And when I say that, there was a specific question asked by Perry Nemiroff from Collider that was basically like, so what is the D-Rex made of? Like, what are we talking about here? Was it something for this or that? Like, what went into this dinosaur? And they basically just started talking about like, well, it was the Rancor and the alien, and it was like a T-Rex, and then we all kind of mix that, and everybody's like, yeah, we know, but like, in the world, what did that mean? So they never actually answered that part of the question, unfortunately. So I feel like they've been doing a lot of the, just the kind of promotional run kind of speak that just is like fluff kind of stuff. So hopefully we get into some more deeper stuff at some point, because I do think this film's pretty loose and messy with the canon. I hope we get into that stuff at some point with the creators a little bit. Frank Marshall doesn't really get into anything ever. We don't really hear much from him other than him sharing some photos here and there. But like, I would love to know his thoughts on like hard canon stuff that's not just like a fluff conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I think what was I gonna? Oh yeah, so I did see it that day as well, and that was on a better screen, and I think the sound was way better. So I had a much better time the second time around. So I'll be honest with you. So when I saw Rebirth for the first time, I was slightly disappointed. I think it's kind of new for me being disappointed. I go to movies a lot, right? I go to them often. I'm an A-list member, and I go to them almost every week, it feels like. And watch a ton of movies at home. So I feel like I've got a good, like, I don't know, I've got a good center when it comes to like what I like and what, you know, what works for me. And for the most part, like every movie I see, I'm like, yeah, that was good. I dug it. It was fun. I obviously have like a little bit more stake in things like Jurassic and Marvel and Star Wars, stuff like that. But for me, when I walked out of that, I was initially pretty disappointed. I was like, I'm like, yeah, it was good. I did that whole thing, you know, and somebody asked me, how was it? My sister asked me, how was it? Or what did you think? And I was like, yeah, you know, it was good. It was good. And I did the whole, like, my voice got higher thing. And you know when somebody's voice gets higher. Sorry, I'm trying to share this around because I forgot to earlier. And you know, like, when somebody does that whole voice, like, a little bit higher thing, you know something's off. Like, and you're like, okay, yeah, but tell me the truth. Like, what did you really think? So, you know, that's when I kind of got into the canonical stuff. I'm like, well, look, I mean, it just doesn't really blend with the stuff that came before it. It really tries to actively, like, toss aside specifically what was set up in the last film. I feel like it doesn't, things just don't look the same. Things don't feel the same. So it's very different. And I think that was mostly due to some of the, like, my first initial screening was like, oh, it was the acting choices. It was kind of like the beginning wasn't really jiving for me. And the canonical stuff was really way off for me. And everything else was like, I enjoyed the movie that I watched, but like, it was a lot of issues that I was like, oh man, that just feels like they didn't pay attention. Let me just type this real quick. I have to share this around. I forgot to do it before. I always forget because I'm always running down here last second to do this. But yeah, there was a lot of things that bugged me, I think, the first time around. And Jared said right here, I didn't do my usual like hello, what's going on stuff. But Jared said, personally, I give Rebirth a 6.5/7 out of 10. It's an all right Jurassic film for me. Some stuff I really liked, but some major issues here and there. Yeah, so I think my initial thoughts is like I recorded right away with J Jurassic, and I didn't release that yet. I will at some point. I want to like fix it up a little bit and make it nice for y'all, but like my initial mindset was fairly negative, and I didn't want that to be like the first thing that came out. So I was like, I don't even know how to talk about the movie right away. So I had seen it last Monday, and I didn't really talk about it for a few days. I was just like, I don't really know what to say. Because it was just bugging me. There was a lot of things that were literally like eating away at me. I know it sounds stupid, but like there were things that were like really just like churning my stomach, and like I just didn't know what to think, because this is not usually the way I feel when a Jurassic movie comes out, or any kind of movie. But you know me, I really dug like everything that I saw in the previous 3 movies. Like I really enjoyed that stuff. So when it came to like not enjoying a movie right off the bat, I was like kind of hurt, and I didn't really know how to act towards it. And I'm like, I don't know how to speak about it. I don't really know what to say. I know I'm like blowing it out of proportion a little bit, but like it was just weird because it's not usual for me. I love Dominion, and everybody else hates Dominion apparently. Like everybody hates Fallen Kingdom. I love both those movies, and I think this one has more in common a little bit with my reaction towards Fallen Kingdom, where when we got out of that movie, it was me, Jennifer Evans, and Chris Pugh, and we were all standing there in New York City talking on the street, recording. I actually have the recording on one of these episodes out here somewhere. But, like, we were recording and just saying, like, yeah, we saw the whole movie, like, before the movie came out. And that was definitely the vibe with this movie. It was everywhere. I know we praised it for quite a while about how good they were doing. But then out of nowhere, it just became too much. It became a little bit too much. So we just ended up seeing pretty much everything the movie had to offer. And that was kind of a bummer. And yeah, I don't know. I was a little upset with like, all this other stuff, like the weird screening issues, some behind the scenes Universal stuff. It's been weird. So I was kind of like not feeling great about the whole perspective of it. And I'm kind of just like, all right, it's time. I think it's time for the movie to be released and out there. I just want to watch it at this point. Like, I don't know what else to do. But yeah, so it was a weird feeling after that first initial screening. The second screening, like I said, better screen, better sound. I brought my son to that one, so I felt much better about the experience. I was looking forward to seeing it again and kind of hashing it out with some of those details. And what I did was I just really put aside any canonical stuff. And I'm just like, let me just focus on like what I see here, what's in front of me, and see if I can enjoy it. And I definitely did. I had a much better time. I think I bumped it up a whole star rating for myself, and I was like, yeah, this really works as a movie, like on its own, in its own universe, kind of. So, yeah, and Mighty Man here says that I give it 3 out of 5 stars. There's good things and there's some worse things. So yeah, I also gave it 3 out of 5. Initially, and then I bumped it up to a 4. And I know I'm being a little generous with the 4 out of 5. I feel like I'm being a little generous, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because I had a great time seeing it with my son, and literally there was like a ton of people from the Jurassic community there. So many people. It was awesome. And it was like a little mini convention that we're meeting up with fans we knew, fans we didn't know. Like there was people just kind of coming up and just joining the crew because we all knew we were there for the same reason. So that was really fun. And so I think overall I maybe gave it a higher star rating than maybe it deserves because of the experience of seeing it that second time. But yeah. What's is that the commercial Who Wants Some Snickers? Is that the one where is it Snickers that like you need to like chill out a little bit and have a Snickers? I don't remember if it was that. Yeah, the phrase "chill out, have a Snickers" is a common expression used to suggest someone relax or de-stress. I feel like that was from like commercials and stuff, right? I don't know, but I definitely feel like maybe they used that on purpose. Maybe it was a Snickers on purpose because like they knew everybody's gonna have a field day with the canon stuff and the lore of the movie. And I know I've been back and forth on the lore over the years, right? I feel like I gave a lot of care to it for a while, and then at some point I was like, you know what? If they're not going to care too much, I'm not going to care. And I think I gave my hopes up a little bit with how much they might care for this movie. So yeah, it kind of hurt a little bit when they didn't care again. So maybe the Snickers was like, chill out. We're going to take down this place one Snickers at a time, and you're gonna have to chill out with it all. Yeah, you're not you when you're hungry. Have a Snickers. Is that what they said? Yaroslav, what's up? I think this movie will grow on you. It's technically a well-made film with a couple of retcons to the previous lore, which, to be fair, Colin retconned introduced new stuff without explanation in each film. Absolutely. You know, but I think, I don't know. Like, I think in my mind at this point right now, it feels more impactful. Mario, we are not really talking full spoilers. I'm trying not to. I don't know if anybody is in the chat. I'm really trying to keep an eye on it, but we're not really trying to talk full spoilers just yet. We're talking details and things like that, but not like. And honestly, like I said earlier, there's not really a whole lot of huge spoilers for this movie. We'll get there, but just wait on that for now. Because, you know, on YouTube, when you're in the live chat, like, you don't really know when people are going to come in and out. So I don't want to, like, have somebody come in and I'm like, this thing happened. And it's just like, they're like, no, I didn't want to see that, you know? So we'll try to keep it simple for now, and we'll get into it at a later date. I do have a full spoiler episode out on the podcast feed. If you want to go listen to that, you can just search for the Jurassic Park Podcast. But yeah, so Yaroslav, what you're saying. We were talking about the Colin stuff, right? Colin, you know, retconned right off the bat the Fallen Kingdom thing, which was like, okay, all of a sudden the lagoon is in a different place than it previous was in Jurassic World. And to me, that feels way less like it just less important. Like, really, it is an annoying detail, and it's like, are you for real? Like, why couldn't you just put like a channel that the mosasaur could have gotten through instead of moving the entire lagoon? Like, to me, that's like a very minuscule like thing. It's a annoyance, but it's really not part. It's not really changing the reality of the situation. I think for this movie, there's a lot of things that make it feel like it's a different universe. There's this universe A, right over here, right? That is Jurassic Park through Jurassic World Dominion. And then off of Jurassic World Dominion shoots this line. It goes, phew, over here. And now we've got, I think, it's just like the aesthetics of everything don't match what we saw around that timeline. So that's the thing I'm going to have to deal with. It feels like the script and maybe the people behind that or whoever, I don't know if it was like a Kep thing or a Frank Marshall thing or a Gareth Edwards thing. Like, I've given Gareth Edwards so much credit over the years that, like, he's done great work. And I think especially when it came to Star Wars, that movie, Rogue One, fits so well into that world. It didn't take you out of like any canonical stuff really at all. I don't think there's really anything that I'm like, but like with the sequels, there are moments like that where I'm like, man. But like, that movie jives so well, and now they're building off of that so well. It's cutting in and out for you? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's on my end or not, but I'll try to what do you call it? Prioritize it on my end just in case. But for me, like I said, the aesthetics don't match. There's a specific dinosaur that's seemingly referenced as a continuation from a previous movie, and to me that, like, it should look the same. I know there's like some versions that you could say are like, I don't know how to talk about that at the moment, but but yeah, I don't know if I'm cutting out for anybody else. I apologize. But let me see. I'll bring it up on my end. But maybe it's you. I don't know. Let's see. I'll listen to myself right here while we're all hanging out here. Seems okay. Might be your phone. All right, I'm gonna get on to it now. But yeah, so there's weird canonical stuff, and it just really doesn't feel like the same universe to me. They talk so much about the original park in this movie. It's very heavily leaned on as if this is the original park, or a research facility for the original park, right? But there is nothing in this movie that is connected to the original park. Absolutely nothing about this is connected to the original park in any way. I would have loved just a little bit of connective tissue there. If they had explained a little bit of something surrounding the mutants, I think, you could have had a good explanation there. But instead, they kind of just they lay the details out in front of you and say, believe it. Here you go. And I have a hard time with that because, I'm not a casual fan by any means, obviously. I live and breathe this stuff. So these details are ingrained in my brain every single day of my life. So I understand the lore and I understand these connections that when they're slightly askew, and not to say that you're not, Yaroslav, I know you do as well, but you're just viewing it from a different perspective, I guess, than I am. But I think it's weird. I mean, to me, it just doesn't connect. It feels like they literally created an alternate universe for this movie that doesn't jive at all with what we saw in Jurassic World. Because there's parts of this movie that are before that time, or not before, but during that timeline, and it's kind of weird that it doesn't line up. Now, I will say, you said the marketing. Oh, maybe you're commenting up. Let's see. Jared said, "I think I know what critter you're talking about." Same question about its redesign. Exactly. There is a creature in this movie that is supposedly redesigned, and I had a conversation with Stephen Ray Morris about this, and he treated it as if it was a recasting, and I was like, okay, I guess that kind of works. It's a recasting, sure, yeah, it happens all the time. And he compared it to a character in Andor that was recast, and it's okay, yeah, I guess I accepted that one fine. Why do I not accept this one? I don't know. I guess I can consider it a recast, but it's weird. It's just weird. I shouldn't have to consider a CG character a recast, So it's weird, but I think there's no logical explanation for the changes that they made to the canonical stuff that makes sense to me. When everything really could have been straightened out ahead of time. It really could have been straightened out ahead of time. So I don't really understand what the difference is here. Why? Oh yeah, I was saying before, I don't know whose choice it was. Was it David Koepp's choice to kind of just swerve around all this stuff? Was it Gareth Edwards who just kind of came in and just made the movie? Because, I was actually surprisingly surprised. I was very surprised that at the Q&A that I saw with Gareth Edwards and Frank Marshall, they had talked a little bit about Gareth just being a director for hire, and we all kind of knew that was the case, right? But they really talked, or Frank really talked about honestly about how they were really just looking for somebody who wouldn't put their stamp on the movie. I thought that was kind of weird. I don't know if he was tripping himself up talking about that, but he basically said we didn't want anybody who would put their stamp on the movie, because the movie was basically in the can. They were in pre-production for so long, since I think they said 2022 or something like that. So that they didn't really need somebody to come in there and make this movie their own. But Gareth did do it a little bit. He did kind of come in and make some things his own. But they weren't looking for that, and I find that interesting. So I don't know if I want to put too much blame on him for things like that. So I really want to lay it like at Frank's feet a little bit and David Koepp's feet for kind of just coming in and not fully knowing all the details. I know Frank's always here. He's not coming in. Like David Koepp's coming back, so I can kind of understand where he wouldn't fully check it out. But like this franchise needs a story group, like an actual legit story group that's not fans, I guess, or whatever. Just like legit people that know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe they could start out as fans, but like, I just feel like there needs to be like in Star Wars when somebody says, all right, let's make a TV show. We're going to put Jar Jar in this TV show. And the TV show's set post sequel movies. And they're like, okay, well, yeah, but that doesn't really make sense for Jar Jar to be here. So let's maybe not use that character. Let's use this character that works and makes sense here. So I feel like we need somebody like that. But yeah, Mighty Man says this movie is definitely more for casual movie watchers than franchise fans, which as the latter, we now have a lot of unanswered questions. Yeah, exactly. We've got a lot of unanswered questions at the moment. And I think, we went in with a lot of questions and we came out with all the same questions. But yeah, let me go back up here. Shout out to Maddox here for the super chat. The sauropod in the intro is an apatosaurus, right? Thank you so much for the super chat. I love that. Thank you so much for watching tonight and being a part of the chat. I really, really appreciate it. The sauropod in the intro is an apatosaurus, right? Yeah, it is. That's one of those things that it's like, what is happening here in this beginning of this movie? Because we very clearly see an apatosaurus in the beginning of this movie. And they absolutely do not refer to it in that way whatsoever. And if I remember correctly, they refer to it as like two different species. And I'm kind of confused. I don't really understand what they're doing. Are they doing the whole like, oh, we're just loosey-goosey, we don't really know what the dinosaur names are? Is that part of showing that people don't care about dinosaurs? Yeah, I guess. To me, it doesn't really come off that way, and it kind of comes off as lazy instead of like newscaster goofing around or not understanding what he's talking about. Because I don't know. What I do is I sit myself in that world, right? I'm sitting there in New York City, and I'm thinking, what do the people in New York City understand about dinosaurs right now in the year either 2027 or 2025, whatever year it may be in that movie? Again, let's get the details straight because it's not making any sense. They didn't get any of the details right. Here I go again, getting negative about the movie. Let me just reiterate, I do like the movie. It's fun. There's so many excellent moments. I do really like the characters. I do really like their relationships. I love the score is awesome. There's so many moments in this movie that I absolutely love. It's the minor details that are kind of killing me a little bit. But yeah. So, and yeah, Mario, you heard them misidentify the Apatosaurus. Yeah. So there's two separate things that happen there in the beginning. There's a Bronto mention and a Brachio mention, and I don't really know what they're referring to. If they're really referring to this Apatosaurus or something else, I don't really understand. I assume they were referring to the Apatosaurus, so that's just the vibe I was getting because we're talking about what's right in front of us. But yeah, let's take a tangent because I brought it up, but there is the timeline events of this all. So I'm kind of initially thrown off right off the bat when the movie starts because I think the movie starts off with the 17 years ago thing, which is at one point they skip ahead to current day, right? So it says current day. Pretty sure it's 2025 right now. So it's 2025 right now. Current day, 17 years ago is what? 2008, right? I can't do math on the fly. Let's just do it real quick. I can't like talk and do math at the same time. So let's do 2025 minus 17 is 2008. Yeah, all right. So I'm right. So that means it's 2008, which would be a year before the Scorpius Rex. Okay, that checks out for me. That timeline works. Okay? Current day, 2025, 17 years ago, 2008. Set a year before, I think, the Scorpius Rex is bred. Even though the Scorpius Rex is said to be the first hybrid creation, we're going to have to throw that aside, I guess, because apparently animated stuff doesn't count. I don't know. But let's also consider the fact that the synopsis, I don't know if the movie said it in particular, but the synopsis is very much, it says 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion. 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion, 2022, right? 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27. 5 years, which then puts the beginning 17 years earlier, 2010, which is then a year after Scorpius Rex, I believe. But even if we put the Scorpius Rex aside, let's just throw it aside for a second. All right. That's my own, like, I'm too intertwined with the canon here. Let's just say that 2010 is when this happens, or 2008, I guess it doesn't really matter. They're on a different island, which somebody had said it before. I think Taylor. Hey, what's up? I really want to know why they had an island in the Atlantic. Yeah, exactly. Like, why are we on the complete other side of the world at that point? I don't know. But they've got an island in the Atlantic, right? And cool kid, what's up? Glad to hear you just watched the movie. We are discussing the movie, so you're here just in time. But they've got an island in the Atlantic that is a research facility now. So we've got Sorna, we've got the Lockwood Estate, research facilities. We've also got this other one in the Atlantic. And that they're flying all around the world, I guess. We do see the helicopter, right? But where was I going with that? Okay, so what I want to say is, yeah, so we've got this island in the Atlantic. It doesn't work out with the hybrid stuff, so that they have to obviously abandon this facility. This is not spoiler stuff. This is all like part of the trailers, basically. We know that they abandoned the facility. We see it later on in the trailers. So they abandoned this facility to go ahead and continue hybrid creations that are obviously very, very dangerous, and we shouldn't be doing this. We had to abandon an entire island. But we're going to go also do this on our theme park island where tons of people are every day. And just do this dangerously in front of everybody. It doesn't check out. Like, those are details that just don't work right in my brain. Like, I don't understand that. If Walt Disney, you know, was like, I'm gonna start a theme park in New Jersey, and he started making the animatronics, and then they all came to life. They Five Nights at Freddy's that facility, and Walt Disney is like, oh no, I have to abandon this, but I've always really wanted to make a theme park out in California, out in the orange groves. I don't know what this voice is. It doesn't sound like Walt Disney, but like. He's like, all who come to this happy place, welcome. Here to California. I once had a park in New Jersey, but all this animatronics tried to kill us, so I brought them here instead. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. Like, I know I'm going on a wild tangent, but like, that wouldn't really work for me. We're talking really no deep spoilers or anything, Alex. Just kind of like general discussion points, but keeping it pretty chill for the most part. Have a Snickers. But yeah, so I think that just doesn't really check out for me, why they would go back and forth And this is a conversation we could have had before the movie too. Like, this is not even a conversation that needs to happen right now. We talked about this stuff before the movie, and it's the same things that didn't answer. They didn't answer, and I had these questions, and we still have no answers for them. So I don't really know. Like, I'm just kind of lost on a lot of those details, and I wish there was much more information. But Alex says, I enjoyed this a decent amount. I definitely got to sit on it. Yeah, I think I've heard that, actually, from a lot of people, that whether they liked it or didn't. There's this, like, more than any of the other movies, I have this feeling that everybody just needs to kind of, like, take it in and just kind of think about what they just saw a lot more. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, and it reminds me of whenever MCU projects say present day, despite... Yeah, I had just watched Spider-Man Homecoming the other day, and that movie has a scene that takes place in 2012, and that movie does the exact same thing that I'm talking about. There's like a whole, like, 2012, and then it's 8 years later, which makes it like 2020, I guess, or I don't remember the exact timeline, but there's like some incongruence there that doesn't line up with the timeline of the MCU, that they're just making things like too convoluted sometimes with these dates, that like that movie did it as well, and it goes to say present day, and I'm like, well, I'm watching this in 2025. What day is it? Like, I don't know. When did this happen? Is this post-Endgame now? Like, so there's a lot of weirdness that comes with a present-day title thing. I think they literally should get away from that and just say 2025. Back to the Future 2 very obviously positioned the future as 2015, the year that Jurassic World came out, right? It doesn't bother me anymore. Like, there was a big moment when it was said 2015, and we got to that moment, and it was like, wow, we don't have any of this stuff. We don't have any of this stuff. But, like, there's nostalgia to it. There's fun to it. The fact that it's 2015, we can look back and say, man, I literally watched the movie the other day, Back to the Future 2, and I said to my kids, I was like, yeah, you know what? 10 years ago, we had hoverboards. And then you guys were born, and we don't have them anymore. So, like, that's the fun in it. You can just say 2025. Or they would have got themselves in trouble if they had done that, I guess, because they said this movie was 5 years post-Dominion. So why did they say that? If it's not 5 years post-Dominion, I don't understand. These are the things that bother me, and I get very heated about it. I apologize. Thank you, Alden, for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Just saw the movie. What do you think? Well, I'm telling you. So I appreciate the super chat so much. But I, again, like the movie. I very much like the movie. There's a lot of things not even a lot of things. I'll lump it into canon that I don't like. There's a lot of canon stuff I don't like. And also, one other thing that I don't like. I'll be honest, I know I've been ragging on the movie, canonically speaking, but there's not a lot I don't like from this movie. There's two things. There's canon, which does encapsulate like 10 things, we'll just say. I don't know. And then there's also one other thing, and that's the fact that the synopsis, which I have read on this show about 100 times. I swear to God. Let me look it up again. But let's see. All right, so is there a synopsis here? Okay, so it says an extraction team raced to the most dangerous place on Earth, an island research facility for the original Jurassic Park. And so that's a point right there we can talk about, because I already mentioned this. They talk a lot about Jurassic Park, but they don't ever refer to Jurassic Park. In the movie, they don't actually talk about Jurassic Park. They just say the original park. And to me, that's Jurassic Park. And to the synopsis, it's Jurassic Park. Do in-world people, you guys can all debate this with me as well. Do in-world people, what do in-world people consider or think about when it comes to Jurassic Park? The park never opened, so do they consider it the original park? I would. Like I said, Walt Disney's original park in New Jersey that had animatronics come to life and kill everybody, that's his original park. No, that's not. But like, you know, Disney World exists, and then, you know, Disneyland, I almost forgot about it. So what I was going to say is, if he closed Disneyland today, in 10 years or 5 years or whatever, would I forget that Disneyland existed? No. I would know. It still existed. They closed it, and it was closed. So I feel like it's weird that original park in this case means Jurassic World. So I don't know. But Alex says, you know, I guess Jurassic Park never opened, so not a park, ? Yeah, I mean, it never opened, but like, picture this, okay? The year is 1997, and you're sitting down enjoying your coffee. It's a late night, you're about to start podcasting in 1997, and you're a first of your kind. You've never done it before. You take a sip, and then you hear a loud boom. And then another loud boom. And you realize, oh yeah, I'm in San Diego. I need to go outside and look at the stars. So you go outside and you see a T-Rex in your backyard. And your mind is blown, right? You want to do everything in your power to research what had happened. Where did this thing come from? The news cycle is only talking about a T-Rex that's alive. Where did it come from? 60 Minutes is doing a whole report on Jurassic Park, the park that never was. You know, I don't know. Barbara Walters, is that also 60 Minutes? I don't know. She's also doing a thing. And like, you know, anybody is reporting on the park that never was, Jurassic Park. Many years later, Lowry's scouring eBay and he's like, dude, that first park was legit. I need to buy this shirt. So like, people knew about the park. It's on the TV in Jurassic World Dominion. It's there. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I know people understood that the original park existed, but they wouldn't have that connection like we do, or like Alan Grant and Ellie do. But like, it existed and people would know about it, right? So I don't know. You would like to think that the general masses don't know about Jurassic Park, but then again, San Diego incident happened, so I don't know. Yeah, but then do they think, oh, well, San Diego's the original park? I don't know. Who knows? You still remember Riverside Six Flags? Yeah, you know? The lab we see in Jurassic World was just a showroom for tourists. The actual testing ground. No, that's the same exact answer for Jurassic Park. That's literally the same answer. I'm tired of the same answers. Like, why are we just repeating it? The lab that we see in Jurassic Park that they go on is just a touring lab. It's not a real facility where dinosaurs are actually bred. They're actually bred on Isla Sorna. Isla Sorna is actually a front for the original facility that was all the way across the ocean, in a different ocean, actually, across the world. That was the original facility. And guys, guess what? Next movie, there's going to be a different one. I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's just like, it's too many things that are just clashing with each other at this point that, canonically speaking, I interpret this movie a lot better as a standalone alternate universe. Like, that's... But anyway, let me go back to the synopsis. So they had talked about, you know, this extraction team raced to the most dangerous place on Earth. And there was... Okay, here it is. Though the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs, those remaining exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. I'm pretty sure those identical words are on the screen in the movie. Pretty sure. And then those same words are then spoken by at least 3 to 4 different characters in the movie, like several times over. And to me, that is like horrible writing. So I'm not really sure why they did that, why they wrote the synopsis on the screen, but then set it with a character in the beginning, and then also set it in a video screen, which had the dinosaur designs from this facility that's in this movie, which doesn't really make sense because I feel like it's a no-go situation. Why would they have the dinosaur designs on a video, like animated video? And then it's also spoken at least another 2 times or so. And I just like, that's just, I don't know why they're doing that. Why they say the synopsis of this movie almost as many times as the word "what" is spoken in Jurassic World Dominion, which is an offensively bad amount of times. What? Like there's a lot of what? Like in Jurassic World Dominion. Go back and watch it and just pay attention to how many, like take a drink, take a shot every time somebody says the word "what" in that movie. I'm telling you, if they make another movie, they need to prioritize weaving all the lore together. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're going to rely on Chaos Theory 2.0, whatever the next series is, you know, whatever the next series is, to do the legwork for them, and then they're going to ignore it. That's my struggle with it, is like they're going to let somebody else do the legwork to connect those dots, and then not pay attention to those dots that they connected. No, not bread. This is a testing facility. Completely unethical, and they can do whatever they wanted. There were some interesting operations going on in there. Even if it is just a testing facility, like I know there's a distinction between Sorna being the factory floor and this was a testing facility. Do you understand how much money islands cost? Like, how many islands do we need? Also, what I don't understand is why do we go all the way to the East Coast when there's 5 islands over here? We could have had any one of those islands. I don't know. I know they wanted a new looking location and all that, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, this is me just ranting about how much of the lore I didn't really like. So do you think it would have been better as a non-Jurassic story and kind of its own thing? No, I don't think so. I think personally I don't ever really care about non-Jurassic stories, like dinosaur stories. Love dinosaurs, but like those movies don't, like, I don't know, 65 and I can't even think of any others. Like, they don't do anything really for me. I like the prehistoric planets and whatever. I don't really care about those all that much. So I don't really feel like it would have been better on its own. I think they would have just done better to connect the dots. It's not that hard. Like, I could sit here in the next hour, which I'm not going to do because I have to go talk about Star Wars in a few minutes. But I could sit here and connect every dot that they loosely disconnected for some reason, even in this convoluted state, and it would be perfectly fine. But it's so much weaving that it's hard to keep track of. Yeah, I think obviously a lot of stuff changed, with the raptors and everything. It's a shame, and it's a real shame. Because we saw the raptor. We saw the 2-headed raptor in the trailer, and then they changed it to a Mutodon in the trailer. And we know that there's a sequence in the movie with a gas station that obviously we know has Mutodons in it from all the trailers and whatnot. But they had cut a sequence, they said, because they thought, oh, this is very Jurassic Park related, so we might want to shoot a separate scene just in case we have to scratch that scene. So, when you see the movies, you realize like how kind of note for note it is with Jurassic Park and the kitchen sequence. So, when they're in the gas station and it's like, convenience store, it's like the exact same kind of one-for-one situation. So they were kind of worried. Frank was worried that like, oh, this might be too on the nose. Let's shoot something else. So they shot something else, and I think that's what ended up being cut. One of the 2 or 3 scenes that they said were cut. Apparently not a lot of footage was cut. He said most of what we see is all they did. And apparently the script is pretty much where it was when Gareth came in. I know a lot of people will say otherwise, but taking it straight from them, that's what they said. I don't know. Alden says, let's hope the next film focuses more on the dinos. I don't really need it to focus on the dinos per se. I feel like they tried that and people didn't care. With the amount of dinosaurs and also focusing on specific dinosaurs, with the Jurassic World trilogy, I don't feel like people cared too much about that. But I want less dinosaurs. I would rather have less, to be honest. Yeah, let's just say I want to talk about JP3 Spino just for a second, because there was a big moment in this movie that was very much like the JP3 Spino versus the T-Rex moment. And we were kind of just talking about some of those things. But yeah. Anyone talk about the dart and physics with the boat moving? Nah, I don't. That's not anything I really care about. I feel like it's fine. Like, that's the least of my worries. It's really all the Canon stuff that bugs me, and some script stuff. But like, I don't feel like to me the like shooting sequences with like any time that they were trying to get the DNA was awesome. Every one of those moments was incredible. And then, having the darts be shot and then what happened afterwards was fantastic. I loved all of those moments. The raft sequence was incredible. I really loved that. On my second viewing, I really loved the human characters a lot more. I felt their connections with each other. I loved like their banter and stuff a lot more the second time around. The first time I didn't really jive with the characters, but the second time around I really dug them. What's up, Steve? Happy Jurassic Day. Yeah, we're here celebrating, I guess you could say. I don't know if it's a celebration. It's kind of like a demoralizing celebration. But, Evan says character is very cliche. Yeah, I do think there are parts of that. Like my first initial watch, I was like, okay, they didn't really give us a lot of like, why is Zora the right person for this job? Why is she, like, in my mind, if I'm in that world, was Owen asked? Like, not, it's not like he's like the perfect person for the job, but like, I think in world, if you're going to check with somebody, he would maybe be the guy, but maybe he's off the grid. I don't know. But to have her do this, that I just wish there was like a little bit more information as to why she was the best choice for this. But I think we see it, we see parts of that throughout the movie. But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing like uniquely special about her abilities. I think at least with Owen, we know he was like a Navy SEAL guy. There was still, is very flimsy too, right? But we know that he had animal behavioralist training and stuff like that. So he did work with different species to do his training. So like that jived with me. Like I got that connection. But for Zora, I wasn't really sure why she was the best contender for this job. And yeah, there were subtle hints to former films. I was gonna say former jobs by Zora, but yeah, there were some former references and stuff to Jurassic World films, but not in a good way for me. It was like, hey, here's this reference to this movie, right? And then they just throw it off. They're just gone. Bye. Get out of here. It's like dinosaurs are in the wild, but they're all dead. You remember when dinosaurs got out 5 years ago? No, they're dead. Who cares? You remember when there was hybrids? Who cares? No, we're not going to tell you anything else. There's nothing else to know. So there are those little connections. But for me, like I said before, it's as if there's like a thread connecting two separate universes, and they just went from this timeline to all of a sudden this timeline, and it feels like they're referencing that initial timeline, but they're doing their own thing down here. This movie is more of a reboot than any of the other movies have ever been. I know Jurassic World was also like kind of considered a reboot. It's not really a reboot. It's a sequel. It's a legacy sequel. In this case, this is a reboot. This feels like a reboot. Like they're like, we know you know what happened a little bit, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Don't think about the details. So I don't know. I thought the connections could have been a lot better, to be honest. And Jonathan Bailey and Mahershala Ali are the standout performances. Mahershala Ali, fantastic. I loved his character in this movie. His character was really great. And I loved this character even more the second time around, and his connection with Zora. I thought that was really cool. Like the way that they were conversing and talking, it felt real to me. And Jonathan Bailey didn't really work for me at all the first time around. Second time around, I felt a little bit more charm. Still don't really know what he's doing with his accent and everything in this movie, but motivational, like I don't really understand his motivations too much. Like I don't really understand where they're going with him, but I do enjoy the character. Taylor says, do you think they're afraid to go back to the older stories, Sorna, JP3 Spino? It seems like it's so odd that they always skip over that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think they're trying to keep it as mainstream as possible, right? Like, so everybody knows Jurassic Park. Let's just reference Jurassic Park. Everybody now knows Jurassic World. Let's just reference Jurassic World. Nobody cares about Lost World. Nobody cares about JP3. And people didn't like Fallen Kingdom. People didn't like Dominion. So, like, to me, they only will reference these two movies, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. Everything else is just kind of like soft canon. To me, that's the reason. I think they are afraid to dive into those stories and connect those dots in ways that we want. Like, they just completely avoided Sorna. I know there was like shout outs a little bit there in the trilogy, but they're just afraid to reference it and afraid to really commit to things. And that's what I've been so critical about across this entire 10 years of Jurassic World, is they are really afraid to commit. And Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory have really done their best. Like, they've really done a great job at trying to connect these dots, but it also feels like they're not given the green light that they need to really commit to some of those connections. And it's even like kind of worse in this case, like where they're not connecting those dots for me. But I know I'm talking very like sourly towards this movie, but I did have a good time with it. I think there's a lot of really good stuff. I do think this is just going to linger on me for quite a while. And it's a bummer. It's kind of a bummer, but we'll try to figure out our best foot forward here to try to talk about this and not be like upset about it every time. And this is a very different experience than I think like Aaron Beyer kind of laid out ahead of him, kind of trashing the movie a little bit. He was not really into the entire idea of it. I love the idea of this movie, and I think they really nailed what they were doing. Like, everything in this movie works really well, except for the canon and some of the dialogue. But like, everything else works so well, so incredibly well. So I'm really happy with what I liked about this movie. The mutant stuff was awesome. I loved all that stuff. The D-Rex was fantastic. The Mutadons were really cool. A bummer that somebody else had to be sacrificed for that case. But like, the Titanosaur sequence was really beautiful, touching, and fun. The Ket sequence was just mind-blowing. It was awesome. The sound design is incredible in this movie. That it's literally giving you things you've never heard before. It's amazing. It literally feels like an alien planet at times with the way that the sound design is created here. But yeah. Weird that Mattel had it wrong with the hero dino. There was no hero dino. Yeah. No hero dino. And kind of villain dino, I guess. Like, kind of. But yeah. I do have to go record another show. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. Shout out to Maddox for the super chat and Alden as well. I really, really appreciate you all helping support the channel and everything. And I do want to hear from everybody here. Like, I really do want to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions. Let me actually just double check something real quick. But yeah, I do really want to hear everybody's thoughts on this movie. So please, if you could send a voicemail, send an email with a voice recording, whatever you can do, just let me know. Carmine, hey, how's it going? No problem you're late, but we are heading out here in just a minute. But I appreciate you being here. And I just wanted to shout out this real quick. Please give our voicemail line a call, 732-825-7763. And let me know exactly what you thought about Jurassic World Rebirth. I want to know from start to finish, what did you think? Did you like the characters? Did you not like the characters? Did you like the plot? Did you not like the plot? Did you have a problem with any canon stuff? Did you not? I want to know all of your details. Please let me know. You can call that voicemail line. That's about a 3-minute voicemail. If you want to, you can also pick up your phone, record a little voice memo in your voice memo app, and email that over to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. And I will put those, I'm going to put everything together in a big, like, kind of celebration of Rebirth. And who knows, I don't know how it'll turn out, if it will be a celebration or not. But we'll put those all together. If you listen to our recent 2 episodes, there was 2 episodes recently, the 10th anniversary Jurassic World and the like final vibe check for Rebirth. We put together a lot of voicemails and stuff for those episodes. So please be a part of it, and you can be on the show. Your voice will be heard on the show, not just me. I like hearing from everybody in the community just to hear what people thought. There was somebody in the vibe check episode who was like, "Shame on you, Gareth Edwards, for what you've done with this movie." And I'm like, okay, that's your vibe, I guess. So we're going to go with it. I don't share those vibes, and I'm sure a lot of you don't share the idea that I had tonight, the vibes that I had tonight about canonical issues and stuff. But when it comes to talking about it, that's just the thing I kind of lean into. But please let me know. Again, 732-825-7763. It's like a 3-minute voice message, or JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. You can record your voice memos, send it in. Try to keep them in that 3 to 5 minute window. I know some people usually call the voicemail line and then like call again and be like, "Sorry, I got cut off," and then let me finish my sentence. But yeah, so anything you want to do, just let me know. And Carmen says, what if Coca-Cola collaborated with Universal and Amblin Entertainment for Coca-Cola X Jurassic World collaboration? Well, at least you can check out Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper has the collaboration right now, so go find all of the Jurassic World Dr. Pepper cans. Of course, they are doing, like, there's some, marketing and stuff going on, some standees and things like that, but it's not like the awesome collaboration that they have with Star Wars at the moment. Their collaboration is pretty killer. So, yeah. But yeah, so let me just see here, last minute things in the chat here before we head out. Keena says, I didn't know anything about the movie. I just saw it, jumped on the podcast, wanted to say I generally absolutely loved it. Fantastic. I'm glad that, and I think that's the best way to go into this movie, is really not knowing anything about it. I don't know if you're a Jurassic fan or not, like, if you're, somebody who indulges in podcasts all the time or fan community sites and things, but I feel like the fact that they marketed the hell out of this movie and kind of gave us way too much impacts the way you view the movie. So if you've never seen anything, that's pretty cool. I dig that. But yeah, so thank you, everybody. Thank you, Taylor, for saying that as well. Best Jurassic podcast ever. Appreciate that. And then thank you to Karen as well. Thank you for all the dedication to the fan base. I appreciate that. Yeah, and then Jason says so many Jaws moments. Absolutely. Even the score. If you listen to the score, like during those sequences, it feels like a Jaws like kind of fun, bouncy kind of score that is very different from Jurassic. And the score is out now, so go listen to the score. It's very fantastic. Yeah. And Kina says, I'm a big fan. I've been listening to your podcast for a long time, but I did not listen purposely to know nothing about the movie. Yeah, exactly. I get that. Like, I totally understand, like, if people want to, like, take a break from listening, because I dive into it constantly. Like, and that's just the thing. When you're doing this, you kind of have to consider all your options and talk about every aspect. And I try to do my best, but sometimes, we kind of slip up on, like, too many warnings and stuff. But it's hard to treat it like, I know some people would consider everything a spoiler, right? So it's hard to kind of talk about things and like what's a spoiler, what's not a spoiler. So it's totally cool if you back out for a little bit, but I'm glad to have you back at least, Yeah, instead of Dr. Pepper, I mean, who knows? I dig the Dr. Pepper stuff, but who knows if Jurassic would get the same treatment. But yeah, so, and anyway, please go to JurassicParkPodcast.com. I don't know if you want to listen to this now, but there's a final vibe check. That was from this week. Literally, I've put out 3 episodes this week, and it's only the 3rd day of the week. So I put out this one, episode 420, the final vibe check before seeing Jurassic World Rebirth. I also put out the Tales from a Jurassic World. The final episode is on the feed. It's also like a video version. You can find that on the Tales from a Jurassic World YouTube and at Tom_Jurassic on Instagram. And then also I did put out my spoiler thoughts. So go listen to my spoiler thoughts. I think it's a little bit more positive than I ended up coming out like here today. But I did talk about those details as well. So if you want to go hear me go into a little bit more detail, I talked about it for another 40 minutes on that episode. So go check out that one. And then, of course, the Forcecast. Go listen to the Forcecast, where I talk about Star Wars each week. And then my other show, Grim Grinning Hosts, where we talk about theme parks and pop culture and all kinds of stuff. So go check out those. And then please go subscribe to my Substack, where you can, read about all kinds of random things that I talk about. I talked about 10 years of the Jurassic Park podcast the other day. So you can go check that out. And I would say if you've seen Jurassic World Rebirth, go watch this documentary. It's not a documentary. It's like a 22-minute like behind the scenes, but it's pretty good. There's some fun stuff in there for a short 22-minute kind of clip show thing. They did a good job. And while you're on Peacock, go check out The Unknown Story Jurassic Park, which is an episode of television that I am in talking about Jurassic Park. Go watch it on Peacock, all right? I'm on TV on Peacock talking about Jurassic Park. But yeah, go do that. I should shout out that more often, but I always forget. Karen, you literally had just gotten out of the theaters. So many good moments. Feeling this will be a top 3. I've heard a lot about that being a top 3. I hope so. I hope it sticks that way for you. For me, currently, it's a number 6, just above JP3. Well, not just above. It's a pretty decent gap above JP3. I feel like there's this trying to be like a resurgence of JP3, but I just want to like tell everybody no and just be like, no. I know like y'all grew up with this movie JP3 and it was maybe the first one you saw or whatever because you're younger, but like, no. You've never felt disappointment like I did when I walked out of JP3. That was heartbreaking. The entire experience was heartbreaking. Okay. So yes. And cinematography was top tier. It was incredible looking, beautiful. The island was amazing. Everything looked so good. Yeah, so the exposition dumps too. I don't know if it's because because it was only really towards the beginning of this movie, but a lot of movies now, like Netflix kind of content and stuff like that, and Apple TV, they're kind of like stating a lot of stuff every so often, so that if you're looking at your phone or on the computer or something, you don't have to pay attention while watching their content anymore, because you can just hear it subliminally and you know, like, oh, I know what's happening. You know, that kind of was the case here, but it was a little different. I don't know. It's good. They just kept reiterating the same thing over and over again. But yeah. Yeah. The more you try to understand the more it doesn't make sense. Yeah. That's what, like, if you view this, like, for instance, another experience that was kind of disappointing was when I saw The Happening in movie theaters, right? I loved Signs. I really liked the other one with Bryce. What was that one called? The Village. I liked that one. There was like The Lady in the Water, also with Bryce, that I was like, but there was also The Happening. I forget what the order was there, but like The Happening came out and I was like, this concept is really cool. Then it was like one of the most god-awful movies I've ever seen. But when you go back and watch that as a comedy, it's great. Great movie. So watch this as if it's an alternate reality Jurassic movie. That somebody else came in, made their version of a Jurassic movie in a different universe. And I think it's going to be a lot more enjoyable of experience. But thank you, everybody. I do have to go. I appreciate you all. Stay safe. Be kind to everybody out there, please. And as always, enjoy.